Ed, it's so great for you to spend time with us here at Charlton Kings Film Society. Can you just tell us, when you first saw the film, what was your initial impression?
My first impression of the film was, oh my God, this is fantastic. I was crying at first. I've seen the film 12 times since it was released, and it still makes me cry now when I watch it. They did such a great job. They really captured the heart and spirit of my story, the essence of my story, and in such a good way. It makes you laugh, it makes you cry, it makes you think, and they did a wonderful job. I saw it for the first time. I had a special screening for family and friends in Cheltenham at the screening rooms. And I invited 50 family and friends, and we watched it, and we all came out crying. We said, "Oh, this is lovely," and it still makes me cry now. And that was a year ago. Actually, I think it's more like 75 to 85% there. It's pretty accurate. There are certain, they've used a certain amount of artistic license. They have to make a good film. But I can see what they did and how they did it and why they did it. And I had like 20 coaches when I went to Calgary. But they couldn't put 20 coaches in the film. It would have been very, very confusing. So they put all those coaches and amalgamated them into one coach. So my relationship in the film with Hugh Jackman was really based on my relationship with all my coaches, because my coaches were of different nationalities. They ranged from 12 years old to 86 years old. But they did it really, really well in the film, and my relationship with him was really, really nice. And I say, based on probably most of my coaches, on that period going to Calgary. So I thought they did an excellent job. My feet haven't touched the ground all year. I've still been pretty busy since Calgary, 28 years ago, traveling around the world, doing TV shows and opening hotels and fun rides and things like that. But I was probably doing on average maybe one speech every 2 weeks. And now since the film, I'm doing between 5 and 10 a week around the world. So I'm very, very busy, and I'm fully booked for most of 2017. So, business is good at the moment. Thank you for the film. I might be able to one day actually live in Charlton Kings, because Charlton Kings, when I lived in Cheltenham, all the richest people in Cheltenham lived in Charlton Kings. So one day, I might be able to live up there. Who knows? So
you're a top athlete, top skier, top athlete. Just missed out on the Olympic team in Sarajevo for 1984. Then you went on to Calgary, wanted to get to Calgary. What drove you on? Why did you make that leap, and what changed the sport from being a downhill skier to the ski jump?
Yes, I was a very good skier, and I was in the British team and racing around Europe, and it was all because of Gloucester Ski Centre. This is my home. This is where I lived most of my childhood, from sort of 13 to 21. I practically lived here skiing, I moved up the ranks and got into the British teams and things, and just missed on a place to get to Sarajevo in '84. And then I was racing in America and ran out of money, which was quite common for me. I was a very poor British athlete. And I was kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time. I saw the ski jumps, and it was cheaper to do, so I could afford to do ski jumping, whereas I couldn't afford to carry on racing. And I realised that Great Britain have had lots of alpine skiers, cross-country skiers, biathlon skiers, but we'd never had a ski jumper. And I thought, there's a gap in the market. And so I thought, I'll give it a go, see what happens, and started jumping. And 20 months later, I was at the top of those jumps in Calgary and became Britain's first ever ski jumper. And it all started here in Gloucester. And I was a humble little person from Cheltenham, and I ended up going to the Olympic Games and then having this film. It's just incredible.
And do you feel like, after all this time, the book that you've written, all the interviews, the film, from all those, do you think that you've been appreciated as a serious athlete?
No, I don't. But I don't mind really too much. Because they kind of overlooked the fact that I was still a very, very good athlete. But it didn't fit with the British criteria, especially the newspapers. Oh, he was a flop, he was a failure, he came last, he was 58th. That's what they wanted to concentrate on. But I didn't mind. I knew that I was a good skier, and people who know me know that I'm a good skier. And that was the most important thing, the fact that people didn't realise that, I used to be a good ski racer before I went ski jumping in Calgary. Because a lot of people at Calgary thought I couldn't ski, and the fact is I couldn't ski jump very well. I'd only been jumping for 20 months, whereas everybody else there had been jumping for 20 years. So there was no way that I was going to beat anybody. But for me, just getting to those Olympic Games was my greatest thing, and I was going to enjoy every second of being there. So I know that people don't really appreciate my athletic side, but I've used it to my advantage as well. When I get invited to do TV shows and I think, oh well, he's not a very good athlete, so he shouldn't do very well, and then I end up going and doing very well in the shows. So I sometimes it can be a bit of an advantage to being a bit of an underdog can be quite good sometimes.
What is life like for you nowadays?
Life nowadays is very busy. I'm traveling a lot. I'm off tomorrow. I speak on cruises. I do speeches and motivational talks all around the world. I've got lots of things coming up. I'm writing a new book, hopefully towards the end of this year, which will be very exciting. I've got a theatre tour coming up in the summer. So it's going to be a very interesting year, and I'm hoping it'll last for a good few years.
And is there a message that you have for our Charlton Kings Film Society audience?
I hope you enjoy the film, first and foremost. I hope it makes you laugh and makes you cry. I hope people will realise just what it took for me to get to those Olympic Games. Because 28 years ago, the press didn't really dwell on that kind of thing. They thought, oh, here's this guy, he's a bit funny, he's always laughing and joking, and he's a flop and he's a failure and things like that. But hopefully the film will demonstrate just what it took for me to get to those Olympic Games, and they'll appreciate that for me getting there was my gold medal, and that was the most important thing. And I hope they get inspiration from that, and whatever they do in life, whether it's in business or in sport or in academics, that if you have a dream, hold on to that dream, and who knows, it might come true. And it doesn't matter whether you're 6 years old or 86 years old, you can still make dreams come true. And I hope they enjoy the film and are inspired by it. And I wish I could be there watching the film with you, but I can't, unfortunately. I'm going to be working. But one day I will come up to Charlton Kings and buy a house up there and live with the hoi polloi and all you rich people in Charlton Kings. I hope they're serving champagne and caviar before they watch the film and have a great time.
Thanks.